Good morning, guys. I told you I had a surprise for you all. I am sitting in one of the high water emergency vehicles that they actually use during floods and I'm sure other disasters. And our photographer is going to walk over here and show we are here with Mike White again this morning. He is the emergency management coordinator. He's going to tell us a little bit more about this disaster expo that we have coming up tomorrow. So, Mike, I'm going to keep looking down at you up here because this is too high for me to even get down, as we know. Tell us about the disaster expo and this vehicle that I'm sitting in right now.
So right now, this is the first vehicle, first piece of equipment that we have for the expo. If you were to look around, you'd see a big empty space. It will be full by noon today, and we'll start actually having so much equipment, we'll be putting stuff outside also.
Very exciting.
You know, I think we have 20 or 30 pieces of equipment. Some of them are very large, ambuses, things like that. So emergency operations center trailers, City of Beaumont's bringing theirs. So some very large pieces of equipment, all the way down to some smaller boats and airboats and stuff like that. So
incident happened here in the 700 block of Goliad Street here in Beaumont, and this could be in connection to a shooting that happened in Lumberton. I'm going to step out of the way for a second and zoom in on what we're seeing. This was the home that was raided earlier today. We now see about 4 or 5 officers on scene. They actually just walked into that home, but this is what we know as of now. The chief would not confirm, Chief Singletary rather, if this pertains to the shooting death of Raul Rebollar Sr., but said more information would be coming out soon. We actually had 2 of the suspects that could be related to this case walk up to us and start asking us questions and said that, you know, one of the statements that he made to both of us was that we keep harassing him. They then later took down the street to talk to neighbors and started giving them threats is what we're told. They later walked down the street and turned a corner, and then all of a sudden we saw 4 or 5 cop cars fly down the street to look for those 2 gentlemen. But we will continue to give you more information as more details come about. As of now, we don't have any other details at this time, but stick with us both on air and online at 12newsnow.com. I'm live in Beaumont, Kara Willis, 12 News. Guys, good morning. Yes, we are standing here outside of the Hardin County Sheriff's Office where we're just trying to dig up any extra details we may find that may have happened overnight. And what we know now is that the manhunt started yesterday and for over a warrant for the arrest of Jarius Andrew Brown. Now, here are some of the details that we know right now. We know that Sour Lake police tried to arrest him Wednesday morning during a traffic stop, and that's when Hardin County Sheriff's Office says that he led officers on a chase in Saratoga. Now, Sheriff Mark Davis says he crashed, got out of his car with a long gun, and fired several rounds towards an officer. He then took off on foot into the woods. Now, the Sheriff Davis says that Brown is still armed and dangerous, and that officers are not giving up on capturing him, but the dense woods could make this hunt a little complicated.
One of the officers here from the constable's office returned fire to protect himself and to protect the other officers. We have got a manhunt going on. We're looking, trying to find him. He's fled into the woods. It's hard to navigate. It's hard to get through. We've got some track dogs that are here on the scene. It's an asset to maybe get him located and take him into custody.
Now, the sheriff called for help from DPS and the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to use track dogs, and police are investigating the scene to look for evidence that could lead them to Brown, including his vehicle that got towed after their pursuit. Now, there's still no word from police on when the manhunt will continue later today, but like I said, we're here at the sheriff's office and we hope to have more details on what you can expect later this morning. Nick, good morning. Luis Torres is facing intoxication manslaughter in the death of Sheena Yarbrough Powell, and in court later this morning they will review that dash cam footage, and later this afternoon they will hear testimonies. Now, intoxication manslaughter is normally considered a second-degree felony. Because they're dealing with the death of an officer, prosecution is going with a first-degree felony, meaning Torres could face a sentence of anywhere from 5 years to life in prison. Partner for Smith and Shipley law firm, Bruce Smith is not involved in this case, but has experience with previous intoxication manslaughter trials. He says that the jury will need to decide if intoxication played a role in the accident, and the court is expected to review the dashcam footage of the crash, and it could be used in both arguments.
that the victim, had the victim done something or not done something, that the accident would not have occurred, that in theory, the defendant could be found guilty of only driving.
We've heard the similar stories in the past about the tragedies along I-10, and I'm standing here along I-10 towards Walden Road near the Pompadours, just one of the many construction areas that we know of here in town. And according to TxDOT, the numbers are still showing that these are still problem areas, both in high traffic and construction zones. I spoke to a woman from Orange. Her name is Gloria Green Morris, about the day she lost her husband and brother-in-law along I-10 in Orange County back in 2019. She says that she can vaguely recall the exact area that the crash happened, but she says that she can't put the blame entirely on construction zones. Her family was hit from behind by a drunk driver. She knows deep down that it wasn't anything her husband and brother-in-law could have prepared for when they were on their way to work early that October morning.